Reclaiming your masculine vitality, the 3 vitamins that can transform your life after 60.
What if I told you that one of the most powerful tools for restoring male health after 60 isn't a prescription, a supplement, or a surgery, but a powder you've walked past 1,000 times in your kitchen cabinet? Yes, I'm talking about baking soda. Most men use it to freshen their fridge or scrub their sink, but very few realize it holds the potential to ease joint pain, support healthy erections, calm prostate pressure, freshen the groin, and even restore comfort where it matters most. All with just a few cents per use. I'm Dr. Mohit Kara. I've spent over 30 years helping men regain their vitality, circulation, and confidence using safe, natural methods. And in that time, I've learned something most men never hear from their doctors: your body still wants to perform. It just needs the right chemistry. And here's the twist most people never see coming: the same baking soda you use in the kitchen can help reduce the 7 most common issues men over 60 face, especially those tied to sexual health, energy, and inflammation. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to use baking soda to support everything from firmer erections to prostate relief to itching and irritation that no cream seems to fix. And stay with me because tip number 5 might just change the way you think about male hygiene and comfort forever. Before we dive in, if you haven't already subscribed, now's a great time to do it. And don't forget to turn on the bell. That way, you'll never miss another tip designed to help men over 60 feel stronger, healthier, and more in control. And if you find this video helpful, type 1 in the comments to let me know you're with me. If not, type 0. I'm always listening and looking to serve you better. Alright, let's get into it. And we'll start with one of the most common yet quietly frustrating issues men face as they age, especially after 60. I'm talking about that constant itch, the dryness, the irritation around the groin, thighs, and lower body that just won't go away. You might think it's just part of getting older, but the truth is there's a simple natural way to get real relief. And it starts with how you use baking soda in the bath. Let me show you how it works. 1. Soothes itchy, aging skin, especially around the groin. I'll never forget the conversation I had with a patient named Richard. He was 68, in fairly good health, still active, but visibly uncomfortable when he sat across from me in my office. He leaned in a little and lowered his voice. "0, doc, I can't enjoy food anymore. Everything gives me heartburn, even the foods I've eaten my whole life. It's like my gut turned against me." And I've heard versions of Carl's story from hundreds of men. It's not your imagination. As we age, the stomach slows down. We produce less acid. The muscles that move food through our digestive system lose tone, and we become more sensitive to rich foods, late-night snacks, even certain medications. Meals that once brought joy now bring discomfort. And over time, many men begin to skip meals, limit themselves unnecessarily, or rely on pills that promise quick relief but bring new problems. But there's a forgotten remedy. Something simple, natural, and almost always within reach: baking soda. Just half a teaspoon dissolved in a glass of water can help calm that burning sensation almost instantly. How? Because baking soda is a natural alkaline substance. When it enters the stomach, it neutralizes excess acid, reducing the irritation that causes heartburn, reflux, and that tight, full feeling that makes you dread eating. The best part, it works fast. Within minutes, many men feel the pressure start to ease, the burning fade, and the heaviness lift. And unlike commercial antacids, it doesn't contain aluminum or artificial dyes. It's clean. It's old school, and when used occasionally and responsibly, it's incredibly effective. Carl was skeptical at first. "You're telling me baking soda? Really?" I just smiled and asked him to try it. A week later, he came back and said, "I had pasta for the first time in months. I slept through the night. No burning, no pills, just that little glass of water you told me about. Of course. Like any remedy, baking soda isn't for everyone. It contains sodium, so men with high blood pressure, kidney disease, or those on certain medications should always speak with their doctor first. But for occasional use, especially after heavy meals or when you feel that familiar fire rising, it can be a lifesaver, a simple tool that gives you back something that matters, the ability to enjoy your food again without fear of what follows. What I found most powerful about this habit isn't just the physical relief. It's the psychological freedom it gives. The freedom to enjoy a meal with your spouse, to share a holiday dinner with your family, or to grab a late-night slice of pie without bracing for the discomfort. That sense of control matters more than we often admit. It reminds you that your body isn't broken. It's just asking for a little help. But digestion is only one piece of the puzzle. Because the same baking soda that settles the gut may also play a quiet but important role in something far more personal. Something that affects your posture, your balance, your confidence, and yes, even your performance in the bedroom. Let's talk about your feet and what baking soda can do for them. Next, 3. Supports foot health and odor control. There's a quiet kind of suffering that comes with aging feet. Most men don't talk about it, but they feel it. Every morning when they stand up, every night when they finally sit down. You've walked on them for 6 or 7 decades. They've carried you into work, through airports, across gym floors and garden paths. But now they ache, they swell, they itch, and sometimes, no matter what powder you use or how often you wash, they carry an odor that makes you self-conscious, even when no one else is around. I once spoke with a man named Dennis, 74, retired firefighter, tough as nails. But when he came to see me, he looked frustrated. I can't figure it out. My feet hurt all the time. The skin's cracking. It smells like something died in my shoes. I've tried sprays, creams, even prescription stuff. Nothing's worked. It's embarrassing. It's like I've got new feet. I still care how I show up in the world. This isn't just about aesthetics. Oral health is directly connected to overall health, especially heart health and inflammation levels. When bacteria builds up in your mouth, it doesn't just stay there. It travels. It affects your immune system, your cardiovascular system, even your energy and mood. Keeping your dentures clean isn't just about freshness. It's about protecting your whole body. And it only takes a minute. 1 spoonful, 1 cup of warm water, a little stillness while your appliance soaks, and suddenly your mouth feels like yours again, clear, comfortable, confident. But as helpful as baking soda is for soothing the mouth, that same quiet power can reach even deeper into the joints where pain often settles like an unwanted house guest. And if you've ever been woken by the sharp, fiery ache of gout in your toe or ankle, you'll want to know how baking soda may help ease that, too. Let's talk about that next. 5. May help manage gout flare-ups. There's a certain kind of pain that only a man who's lived through it truly understands. It doesn't creep in slowly. It strikes sudden, sharp, usually in the dead of night. You wake up with your toe, your ankle, maybe even your knee throbbing with such intensity it feels like it's on fire. Just the weight of a bedsheet is too much. You try to stand, but the pressure is unbearable. That's gout. And for men over 60, it's more common than you might think. A patient of mine, Harold, came to me not long ago with that exact story. He's 66, a retired plumber, spent most of his life on his feet. But now, every few months, gout would bring him to a standstill. He said, pointing to his foot. The culprit in gout is uric acid, a waste product that in some men builds up and crystallizes in the joints. When that happens, the joint becomes inflamed, red, and excruciatingly tender. Medications can help, yes, and in many cases they're necessary. But Harold wanted to know what he could do on his own. Something natural, safe, something he could reach for without adding to the pile of pills on his kitchen counter. That's when I told him about baking soda. A simple natural substance with a surprising ability to shift the body's internal chemistry. Because baking soda is alkaline, it may help neutralize the acidity in the bloodstream. And when used correctly and sparingly, it may create an internal environment less favorable to uric acid buildup. Harold started with just half a teaspoon of baking soda dissolved in a glass of water once a day during the early signs of a flare. Within a few days, he noticed something had shifted. The pressure eased. The heat faded. He could put his foot down again. Now, it didn't make the condition disappear. And I was careful to remind him, and I'll remind you now, that this is not a replacement for professional treatment, but it gave him something invaluable, a sense of control. For many men, gout is more than a pain in the foot. It's a constant reminder that their body isn't what it used to be, that they're slowing down, that simple pleasures like walking the dog, climbing the stairs, or taking their partner's hand for a slow dance now come with hesitation. But when the pain lifts even a little, something else returns with it: freedom. The freedom to move without wincing. The freedom to plan your day without wondering if your joints will cooperate. The freedom to feel strong again. There are always precautions. Baking soda contains sodium. And if you have high blood pressure, kidney issues, or are on sodium-restricted diets, you need to talk to your doctor before using it regularly. But for many men, in small doses and with care, it becomes a trusted ally. Not just for the physical relief, but for the emotional lift that comes from knowing you can help yourself. Harold told me later, _4, that's the quiet power of something so simple, and it's why I keep recommending it to men who are ready to feel a little more in control of their health. But here's something most men don't realize. While gout can stop you in your tracks, there's another kind of discomfort that creeps in even more quietly, and it hits right where most men least expect it. Let's talk about how baking soda might help ease that burning, stinging sensation during urination that so many seniors face, and how this one adjustment might change your day entirely. 6. Helps calm urinary discomfort. It's one of those problems most men don't like to talk about. You don't mention it over lunch with friends. You don't even bring it up unless the discomfort becomes unbearable. But it's there sometimes for weeks at a time. That burning sensation when you urinate. That constant pressure in your lower abdomen. That nagging feeling that something just isn't right. It doesn't matter how many times you go, it never feels finished. And it starts to wear on you. Not just physically, but mentally. It chips away at your sense of control. I remember a man named George, 70 years old, who had that look in his eyes when he sat down in my office, tired, frustrated, and a little embarrassed. "Doc," he said, "every time I pee, it stings like hell. I feel like I have to go all the time, but when I do, there's barely anything. And I hate this part, talking about it, but I'm at my wit's end. Honestly, Doc, I can't eat without wincing. There's this sore in my mouth keeps coming back. I brush, I rinse, nothing helps." What he was describing was something I'd seen many times. Canker sores often triggered by stress, immune changes, or minor trauma in the mouth. And for older men, they tend to show up more often and heal more slowly. The problem is, most over-the-counter mouth rinses sting like hell and offer little relief. They're filled with alcohol, artificial flavoring, and harsh chemicals that only irritate already sensitive tissue. That's when I suggested something that often surprises people. Baking soda. Not as a paste or a scrub, but as a warm rinse. Half a teaspoon dissolved in a small glass of warm water, swished gently around the mouth 2 or 3 times a day. It sounds simple, maybe even too simple, but Alan tried it and within a few days, his sore started shrinking. The sting faded. By the end of the week, he was eating without flinching and smiling again. He said, "8, here's why it works. Baking soda is a mild alkaline compound with gentle antiseptic qualities. It helps reduce the acidity in the mouth that makes canker sores worse. It also creates an environment where healing can happen faster without irritating healthy tissue around the sore. It doesn't burn. It doesn't dry out your gums. It just soothes. But more than that, it gives you back a basic sense of ease. Because when your mouth is in pain, everything feels a little harder: eating, speaking, laughing. Those everyday moments that connect you with people, with joy, with nourishment, they shrink. And when relief comes, you don't just feel better physically, you feel like yourself again. I've recommended this rinse to dozens of older men, and it's often met with the same reaction: gratitude. Not because it's some miracle cure, but because it reminds them that they can take action, that they're not helpless, that sometimes the best medicine is already in the cabinet, quiet, familiar, and powerful in its own way. Alan put it best. "9, it was my mood, my appetite, my sense of." And that's really what each of these small remedies is about. Whether it's your joints, your skin, your feet, your stomach, or your smile, it's not just about easing discomfort. It's about reclaiming comfort, presence, and pride in your body. But here's the deeper truth. Baking soda may be simple, but the lessons it teaches go far beyond one remedy. And in the final moments of this video, I want to show you why this humble powder might be one of the most underestimated allies in a man's journey to aging well. Let's bring it all together. 8. The quiet power of simple things. A senior's path to gentle healing. After decades in medicine, I've come to believe that real healing often begins with something quiet. Not the flashy new pill, not the latest clinical gadget, but something you already know, something that's been sitting on the shelf all along. Baking soda isn't a miracle cure. It won't turn back the clock or solve every problem. But what it can do when used wisely is help you feel better in the places that matter most. It can ease the friction of everyday life on your skin, in your joints, through your digestion, and even in your most private discomforts. Let's think back for a moment to what we've uncovered. A simple baking soda bath can bring relief to dry, itchy, aging skin, especially around the groin, helping you rest, connect, and feel more at home in your body. Half a teaspoon in water can calm acid reflux or heartburn, so you can enjoy your meals again without dread. That same pinch can help quiet the pain of a gout flare-up, giving you the freedom to move, walk, and live without wincing. A foot soak can ease odor, cracking, and pressure, restoring a sense of dignity and peace that goes far beyond your shoes. Rinsing your dentures or oral appliances with baking soda helps keep your mouth fresh and clean without burning your gums or stripping away comfort. A small daily dose may calm urinary discomfort, especially when you feel that frustrating burn or pressure that comes with aging. And finally, a gentle baking soda rinse in the mouth can soothe a canker sore, letting you eat, speak, and laugh again without pain. Each of these small changes adds up. They might not seem life-changing at first glance. But they are. Because when your body starts to feel better, your mind follows. You stop bracing for discomfort. You sleep more soundly. You move with more confidence. You talk more freely. You smile without hesitation. These are not just medical outcomes. They're human ones. And for so many men over 60, that shift, however subtle, makes all the difference. I think about the men I've treated over the years. Guys who walked in stoic, silent, unwilling to admit how much discomfort they were carrying. And then, slowly, after something simple like a foot soak or a glass of baking soda water, they came back lighter. Not cured, not 10 years younger, but more comfortable, more confident, more present. That's the quiet magic of using the right tools at the right time. Tools that aren't complicated or expensive. Tools that respect the body instead of overwhelming it. And that's why I keep recommending baking soda, not as a gimmick, not as some catch-all cure, but as a companion, a small, natural way to take better care of yourself. It reminds you that your health still matters, that you deserve relief, even if it comes from the most ordinary places. That aging doesn't mean giving up. It means listening closer, being gentler, choosing actions that honor what your body has carried you through. So the next time you reach for that little orange box in your cupboard, don't just see a cleaning product. See possibility. See comfort. See a way to take back control of the small moments that make up your life. Maybe it's soaking your feet after a long day. Maybe it's easing the sting of your digestion after dinner. Maybe it's finding comfort in the middle of the night when you wake up to pee and wonder if you'll fall back asleep. Whatever it is, you now have a tool. One that's simple, one that works, one that you can use on your own terms. And sometimes that's all a man really needs to feel strong again. If this message resonated with you, if even one of these tips brought you relief, I hope you'll take a moment to reflect on how small changes can lead to real comfort. And if you know another man who could use a little relief, a little strength, or a reminder that his body still matters, feel free to share this with him. Because in the end, healing isn't about doing everything. It's about doing what works and doing it with intention.